The newsroom buzzed with urgency, a living organism fueled by deadlines and the relentless pursuit of the next big story. But for Elena, it was a battlefield, one where the enemy was misinformation, and the stakes were nothing less than the public's trust. Keyboards clattered, phones rang, and under harsh lights, Elena scanned stories for errors and falsehoods, her eyes sharp and unyielding. She wasn't a public face, but her role was vital. She was the last line of defense against misinformation, the unseen guardian who protected the integrity of every article. Reporters knew her standards were high. Every source, every claim, every assumption was scrutinized, sometimes to their frustration, but always to their benefit. Her dedication meant long hours and personal sacrifices, cold dinners at her desk, missed celebrations, and a calendar filled with deadlines instead of plans. On this evening, as the city outside faded into night, a story about a minor European political scandal caught her eye. A phrase felt off, too polished, too rehearsed, like a press release crafted to manipulate rather than inform. She flagged it, asking the reporter to verify the quote, her instincts honed by years of catching subtle distortions. It seemed routine, just another small correction, but it was the first thread in a much larger web, one that would soon unravel. Her colleagues respected her, even if they sometimes grumbled about her meticulousness, knowing she made their work stronger. They didn't see the cost: missed family dinners, lost time with friends, a social life that seemed to fade with every late night. For Elena, journalism was a calling, not just a job. She carried the weight of responsibility with quiet pride, knowing the truth depended on her vigilance. She believed truth was the foundation of democracy, the invisible thread holding society together. She was willing to sacrifice for that ideal, even as exhaustion crept in and doubt sometimes whispered at the edges of her mind. But she had no idea her greatest test was just beginning, a challenge that would push her to her limits and force her to question everything she believed. The gate she guarded was about to reveal its darkest secret, and Elena would have to decide how far she was willing to go for the truth. Elena embodied the countless women behind the scenes, editors, producers, fact-checkers, who shaped the news. Their work is invisible but essential, the immune system of journalism. Each day brought ethical dilemmas, anonymous sources, graphic details, platforming fringe groups. Elena's judgment was her compass, and she mentored others to value credibility above all. She taught skepticism, not cynicism, and built stories on facts, not speculation. But her crucial role made her vulnerable, vital, yet replaceable. Management saw her as a cog, not a protector of integrity. This is the paradox for many women in newsrooms. Immense responsibility, little power. When integrity clashed with corporate interests, she was exposed. Elena was about to learn just how precarious her position truly was. The unseen architect was about to be tested. The odd phrase in the European scandal story seemed minor at first, just a strange turn of words buried in a sea of headlines. But it lingered in Elena's mind, a tiny anomaly she couldn't quite shake, until it appeared again, almost word for word, in a completely different context. A week later, a different story from another bureau used the same unusual language. The odds of such a specific phrase reappearing seemed too slim to ignore. Elena's curiosity was piqued, and she began to wonder if this was more than just coincidence. Elena's curiosity turned to concern. She started tracking these patterns, compiling a list of articles and phrases, searching for connections that might explain the repetition. She found more stories, across topics and continents, all echoing the same narrative: pro-corporate, anti-regulation, subtly political. The pattern was spreading, weaving itself into the fabric of global news. These weren't wire stories, they were original reports, filed by trusted correspondents, each with their own voice and style, yet somehow sharing the same hidden message. The repetition was too precise to be coincidence. The same sentences, the same subtle slant, appearing in places they didn't belong. Elena realized this was coordinated, not careless. Someone was orchestrating these insertions with intent and precision. She dug deeper, searching archives for more anomalies, determined to uncover the full extent of the manipulation. Identical sentences and paragraphs surfaced, always pushing the same agenda. The evidence was mounting, impossible to dismiss. The stories were expertly crafted to appear objective, blending seamlessly with legitimate reporting, making the propaganda nearly invisible to the average reader. The chilling truth dawned. Someone inside the company was inserting propaganda, manipulating the news from within. The network millions trusted was being used to spread a hidden message, shaping public opinion without anyone realizing it. Elena, the gatekeeper, was unknowingly part of a corrupted system. The betrayal was profound, shaking her faith in the institution she'd dedicated her life to. She had to know how deep it went. The question haunted her: who was behind this, and how far had the rot spread? The pattern in the static was a signal she couldn't ignore. It was a call to action, a mystery demanding to be solved. The real story was just beginning, and Elena was determined to uncover the truth, no matter where it led. Elena needed proof, not just suspicion. She knew that in the world of journalism, accusations without evidence would be dismissed or worse, used against her. Every detail had to be airtight. She compared original drafts to published versions, scrutinizing every word and punctuation mark. It was painstaking work, but soon she found the suspicious language was added after reporters filed their stories. Subtle changes that shifted the meaning of entire articles. The changes came from a small group of senior managers, executives, not editors. These were people with power, operating above the newsroom's editorial process. She traced edits through internal logs, cross-referencing timestamps and staff schedules. The digital footprints were clear, revealing who made each change and when. The pattern was clear. These managers were embedding talking points, repeating the same phrases across multiple stories to push a coordinated message. Digging into internal emails, she found messaging directives, scripts from a powerful PR firm. The emails were explicit, leaving little doubt about their intent. The directives instructed managers to insert specific phrases into stories on key topics, ensuring the company's narrative was always front and center. It was a ghostwriting operation, coordinated and deliberate. The scale of the manipulation was larger than Elena had feared. Elena collected the evidence, altered stories, editing logs, internal memos. She organized everything meticulously, knowing she'd need to present a clear case. The scale was staggering, a fake news network operating from within, manipulating public perception on a massive scale. She now had undeniable proof. The documents, logs, and emails formed a chain that couldn't be ignored. The truth was bigger than she'd imagined. The implications reached far beyond her newsroom, touching the highest levels of corporate power. The next step would be the most dangerous. Exposing the truth meant risking her career, and possibly her safety. Elena was ready to act. She steeled herself, knowing the world needed to hear what she'd uncovered. The digital trail led straight to the heart of the company, exposing a web of deception that was finally about to unravel. Elena presented her evidence to her superiors, expecting outrage and action. Instead, she was met with silence and vague reassurances. The meeting ended quickly. Her concerns were brushed aside. In the days that followed, no one followed up. She was buried in busy work, isolated from the newsroom's main flow. Colleagues avoided her. Conversations stopped when she approached. The message was clear: drop it, forget what you found. Elena couldn't. She had seen the truth and couldn't unsee it. The company wasn't going to fix the problem. It was the problem. The silence was suffocating. She was being pushed out, not for incompetence, but for caring too much. The cost of integrity was becoming unbearable. Elena faced a choice: stay silent or take a risk. The newsroom that once felt like home was now hostile ground. She knew what she had to do. Elena was trapped, her conscience at war with her career. Resigning would bury the story. Staying meant being silenced. There was only one path left. She had to leak the truth. The risks were enormous: legal action, career ruin, personal danger. But being complicit was worse. She prepared the leak with care, encrypting files and writing a detailed cover letter. She chose an independent journalist, known for integrity. Using an anonymous email, she sent the evidence. The subject line was simple: the Emperor's new clothes. Alone in the newsroom, she hit send. She looked around at the place she'd given so much to. There was no going back. Elena had crossed the point of no return. The truth was out. Her sacrifice was complete. The consequences would be swift. The exposé exploded online, backed by Elena's documents. The media giant's name was everywhere. Public trust shattered. Then, the story vanished, scrubbed from news sites and social media. Digital censorship erased the evidence. Elena disappeared too. No calls, no trace, her apartment empty. Friends and family were frantic, but the investigation stalled. No signs of struggle, just absence. The timing was too perfect to be coincidence. Had she gone into hiding, or had someone silenced her? The woman who fought for truth was now a mystery. Her disappearance left a vacuum. The narrative was about to shift. Elena's story was being rewritten by those she exposed. The truth was in danger of being buried for good. With Elena gone and the evidence erased, the company struck back. They didn't address the allegations. Instead, they attacked Elena's character. Anonymous sources painted her as unstable, vengeful, and difficult. Her dedication was reframed as obsession, her professionalism as neurosis. The media picked up the smear campaign, shifting focus from the company's wrongdoing to Elena's supposed flaws. The tactic was brutally effective, especially against women. The story became about her, not the fake news network. Public debate centered on her sanity, not the facts. The corporation had changed the subject. By destroying the messenger, they hoped to erase the message. Elena's credibility was under attack, even in her absence. Elena's story echoes the real struggles of women who challenge power. When they speak up, their motives and sanity are questioned, not the wrongdoing they expose. This chilling effect silences others and erodes trust in the press. When corporations control the narrative, citizens become mere consumers. Elena's fight was for the integrity of information. Her disappearance and smearing are warnings. Narratives can be manipulated. Whistleblowers are often punished more harshly than wrongdoers. We must recognize this pattern and ask why the subject is being changed. Let Elena's story be a call to support truth-tellers and question what we're told. The search for truth is everyone's responsibility. The truth is still out there, if we're willing to fight for it.